What if a rock legend whose fearless style helped shape an era was suddenly hit with a label so shocking it redefined her story at 79? That's the narrative swirling around Debbie Harry, the punk queen of Blondie, who once again finds herself in the headlines. Some recent photos have been called indecent by tabloids and clickbait videos, but the truth behind them is far more powerful and far more inspiring. Debbie Harry has never been about playing it safe. Her life and career are proof that authenticity is always worth the noise. From her wild days on the New York underground scene to her newest chapter as a fashion muse and activist, her journey is a punk rock anthem of resilience, artistry, and reinvention. A life lived on her own terms, born Angela Trimble in 1945 in Miami, Florida, Debbie Harry's beginnings were humble. She was adopted and raised in New Jersey, a far cry from the cultural hubs she would later dominate. Before stepping into the global spotlight, she worked as a secretary, a go-go dancer, and even a Playboy bunny. But none of those roles defined her. Music was always the pull, and in 1974, she co-founded Blondie with Chris Stein, her creative partner and then romantic partner. Together, they built a sound that didn't just blend genres, it invented something new. Punk attitude, disco beats, new wave synths, reggae rhythms, even early hip-hop, all found their way into Blondie's catalog. By the end of the 1970s, Debbie Harry wasn't just leading a band, she was leading a cultural shift. Blondie and the sound of an era. Blondie's rise was meteoric, powered by songs that became instant classics. Heart of Glass, Call Me, One Way or Another, Rapture. Each track was a marker of its time, and yet timeless, still blasting from radios, films, and playlists today. Debbie Harry's voice was sultry and cool, her stage presence magnetic. She had an energy that could make punk sneers sound like high art and pop sparkles sound subversive. But it wasn't just her music. Her bleach blonde hair, edgy wardrobe, and daring confidence turned her into an icon whose image graced posters, magazines, and the walls of countless fans. Debbie didn't calculate this. It was who she was. She lived boldly, and the world couldn't look away. The power of fashion and image. From the very beginning, Debbie Harry understood the power of visual identity. She wore animal print bodysuits, leather jackets, pillowcase dresses held together with duct tape, and whatever else felt right in the moment. Fashion critics sometimes dismissed her looks as provocative or indecent. But for her, it was never about shock for shock's sake. It was about freedom. Her image embodied the ethos of punk. Rules are meant to be broken. Individuality is meant to shine. Decades later, that same spirit resonates in campaigns like her 2024 Gucci shoot and her 2025 Cutler and Gross eyewear ad. Posing with loose curls, smoky eyes, and her trademark attitude, Debbie once again became a flashpoint for conversation. Fans praised her as ageless and inspiring. Others muttered that she was too bold for her age. The critique was nothing new. Debbie had heard it all before, and as always, she shrugged it off. The indecent storm of 2025. In February 2025, a wave of online commentary resurfaced around Debbie Harry. YouTube videos sensationalized her latest photo shoots, calling her the most indecent woman in the world. Some websites even recycled old rumors about leaked photos, which were unverified and flimsy at best. But beneath the noise was the same story it had always been. Society struggling to reconcile itself with a woman who refuses to conform. Debbie Harry, at 79, posed for an eyewear ad, looking stylish, confident, and very much herself. That's what caused the fuss. Not indecency, but defiance. For every critic who dismissed her, thousands of fans rose up to call her a trailblazer, praising her refusal to let age silence her punk spirit. The so-called scandal said less about Debbie Harry and more about the discomfort people still feel when women own their power unapologetically. Surviving the pressure of fame. Debbie Harry has faced judgment for decades. In the 1970s and 1980s, reporters constantly asked her about being a sex symbol rather than about her art. Tabloids painted her as wild, focusing on her nightlife and struggles rather than her creative vision. She battled heroin addiction and won, an achievement that made her more resilient, but also added to the myth of the reckless rock star. Through it all, she stayed true to herself. When asked endlessly how it felt to be a sex symbol, her answer was simple. She never aimed for that title. She just did what felt right. That refusal to apologize became her armor, and it carried her through decades of scrutiny that might have crushed lesser spirits, a legacy of reinvention. What makes Debbie Harry remarkable is not just what she achieved at her peak, but how she has continually reinvented herself without abandoning her essence. In 2019, she released her memoir, Face It, an unflinching account of her life. She shared stories of triumphs and traumas, from surviving an assault to navigating the predatory nature of the music business, to humorous anecdotes about encounters with legends like David Bowie. Fans praised the book for its honesty, calling it a portrait of a woman who refused to sugarcoat her experiences. In the 2020s, she shifted focus toward activism, lending her platform to environmental causes, women's rights, and especially beekeeping, a passion that inspired Blondie's 2017 album, Pollinator. By embracing wisdom alongside style, she has shown that being punk isn't about staying in the past. It's about staying true in the present. A punk queen in the fashion world. Her 2024 Gucci campaign was a masterclass in quiet confidence. Dressed in bold yet elegant pieces, she held a Blondie-themed bag, embodying the cool defiance that has always defined her. Instead of fading away, she embraced a new role as a muse for younger designers and fans alike. Fashion houses don't see her age. They see her timelessness. At 79, she is living proof that glamour and attitude are not bound by numbers. The backlash that followed, tabloids twisting her images into scandal, only highlighted how threatening authenticity still feels in a world obsessed with youth and perfection. Debbie, as always, refused to let the noise define her. Mourning the past, embracing the present. In January 2025, Debbie reflected on time, telling an interviewer, "Everyone's gone already," a candid admission about the loss of many friends and collaborators over the years. Yet, rather than sink into regret, she has chosen to embrace contentment. She performed at a New York gala, reenacting a playful duet with Kermit the Frog, and headlined major festivals like Coachella in 2023. She balances humor with poignancy, vibrancy with reflection. Her fans see her not as a relic of punk, but as proof that artistry can evolve while still honoring its roots. The truth behind the label. The indecent tag thrown at Debbie Harry in 2025 is not about her at all. It's about a culture still struggling to accept that women can be bold, sexual, stylish, and powerful at any age. Debbie Harry is not indecent. She is unapologetic. She has never sought permission to be herself, and that refusal to conform is precisely why she remains iconic. Her story is not one of scandal, but of survival, artistry, and courage. From her fearless days in the 1970s to her reflective years now, she has proven that aging is not about fading into the background. It's about stepping forward with even more confidence. Conclusion: a punk anthem for every generation. Debbie Harry's life is proof that rebellion doesn't retire. At 79, she remains a force, still performing, still modeling, still inspiring, still refusing to apologize. The labels attached to her, sex symbol, indecent, scandalous, are distractions. What matters is her legacy as a trailblazer who made punk glamorous, who turned boldness into art, and who continues to inspire fans across generations. Debbie Harry is not indecent. She is unstoppable. Her story is a punk rock anthem that began in the clubs of New York and still plays today. Live loudly, live authentically, and never back down.